saw me, they were like, get away from her, she's got the disease, like,
Oh
look,
my
it's the
God.
disease, like, get away from me, corona, like, stuff like that.
God. Yeah, so
just by looking the way that I do was a target. Well, it still kind of is a target, but back then it was so bad. I didn't want to leave the house.
yeah,
I didn't want to. Yeah, I had to go to hospital. They really tried to keep us in university for as long as possible. So while everyone else had been told that university was cancelled, we still had like 3 weeks more of placement that they tried to make us do. So I was having to travel really far and felt really unsafe at the time because I was like, I don't know, I don't want to get infected. And then getting abuse from people, and I just really didn't want to be there. I really just didn't want to be outside of my house, because even if, like, before I have received racism like throughout my life. It's nothing new to me, but back like just before the pandemic, it was so much. It was like every single day in every single like situation that I was in, it would just be there. And I used to be protected, inverted commas, if I was with like my boyfriend who's Scottish, if I'm with my flatmates who are white, like I'd be shielded from a potential situation by being with them because people wouldn't pick on me. But it was still happening despite them being there. So that's when I knew that these people are getting really bold with this. They really have a lot of hate and anger towards me and people who look like me. It's not just Chinese people. People can't tell the difference. Like they think that all Asians are Chinese, you know, like everyone was receiving it. And back then I didn't really have a community because like racism unmasked didn't exist. Like I didn't really have anything to fall back on. So every day I was trying to explain this to my boyfriend or explain it to my flatmates who were really understanding and really shocked, but they simply can't empathize with it. They don't have the lived experience, therefore they can't really know what it's like and really know how to help me. So it was so isolating. So that's why I'm like, that was one of the reasons actually why we created this organization, is because a student at Edinburgh University was attacked by a gang of people outside a university building, and security didn't like intervene until it had happened, and the person was like left on the floor. And
I'm like getting major goosebumps.
It was literally at like peak time at the library out,
and it's like so busy around there.
Busy around there, lots of bystanders. They just didn't like there's a huge problem with people just seeing something happen and they just choose not to get involved. They just walk away. And so that's why we want to like try and educate people on how to help as well, because people think that the only way to get involved is to fight, like physically fight them off, which is not ideal because it is unsafe in a lot of situations like that.
If it's like a group of people, like no, run. Like there's like it's horrible to say that, but you need to protect yourself. Literally grab another person and be like, you're gonna fucking help me because I need help, you piece of shit. Like that's horrible. Like I'm just thinking, like if I was in a situation like that, what what could you do? Like you were totally helpless. Like and especially it's like having bystanders there and then not helping even more so. Like that's just so scary. Like imagine what, not only that incident is traumatizing, but the fallout from the incident afterwards, like the trauma that would follow that person around every time they left the house. Like it's not just this, it's like I was explaining this to Maggie, like because I've had a lot of trauma like young, like when I was younger and stuff like that, like a lot of like sexual kind of abuse and everything. And it's like, even though I feel so strong and all these like different aspects, and I don't struggle with it every day, but it's hard on days when I realize that I have to carry it. Like you have to carry it every day with you. You are reminded every day of it. Like it doesn't go away. Like you learn how to cope like with it and not let it overcome your life, but it never goes away. Like you have it with you all the time and it's always there, and you just like that becomes your life, is this, like you don't become that trauma, but it's never, you can't ever like undo it.
Yeah. I like to like compare, I know they're completely different things, but being a woman and also being a person of color, like they're very similar experiences. They're often like combined in one. So when people say, oh, I don't really understand what it's like to experience racism, I'm like, just think about like sexism, just think about being a woman in this society. Like it feels kind of similar in the sense that you know that the system is just against you. You know that your voice is just not going to be heard. Like stuff can happen to you and it just won't be taken seriously. And there's also like the hypervigilance of being out in the street like late at night, or just during the day. Like you don't want to be harassed, and it just feels like similar experiences. And I think because on our Instagram you can look at like the analytics of you can look at the statistics of your followers and stuff, and I think 87% or even higher, like 90 something percent of our followers are women. And
really?
Yeah, and I think it's a big thing to do with they can actually empathize, because being a woman, like you're just not treated equally. You're going through a lot of stuff because you're a woman, like stuff that you can't help and stuff that you can't control. And I think that's why like women can empathize with us more, because they've also gone through trauma. They also have
generations of trauma.
Of like having to fight for your rights and like for basic rights. So that's what I kind of like make links between to help people understand what it's like.
So I know that you shared your experience specifically after COVID of like like, you know, when you were in a supermarket and like kind of that fallout. And I know we were kind of like sharing stories about like how COVID and just in general, like that kind of hyped that like acceptance to be like discriminating against like Asian people and their culture and everything. So yeah, if you're comfortable, like we'd love to hear like your story.
This is just one of many, just as a disclaimer, but I was with my sister at the supermarket, and the supermarket was for some reason where everything happened. Like just I had so many like incidents at the supermarket. I don't know why, because it seems like the most public place to me. And all the staff are around, and people just for some reason feel very bold when they get to the supermarket. I don't know. But
maybe because they're hungry.
Yeah, maybe. But we were just we went on a family trip to the supermarket to pick out the stuff for the week. I was with my sister, and some like a group of guys just walked past us and just like said stuff over our shoulder, like as they were like rounding the corner. And I didn't like quite, it only like registered with me what they had said like after they had said it, because it happened so quickly. They just like whispered it like in my ear, basically. Very disgusting, like so close.
Ew.
Really?
Like right there, like right next to my shoulder, next to my ear. And they were just like Corona, like Chinese Corona. And like
what the
yeah,
oh my god, that makes me so
yeah. And that was horrible. I turned around and I was like,
sister.
with my sister there. She didn't really catch on because it had been like in my ear. She was on my other side. She was just like, they're really strange, like why are they hovering? But I turned to them, I was like, fuck you. And I went to go like find them at the checkouts, and usually I'd let it slide, but because I've just for some reason like felt more confident that day I was with my sister, I felt like I had to do something and
be like a role model in a sense.
Set an example. I went to find them at checkout, and I like flagged down the security guy, and I told them like they're being racist, and they literally came up to me, and they just like the men who did it, like they walked up to me, they knew that I was like telling on them, and they were just like laughing in my face, like they didn't think that anything would happen. And the security guy was just like, like the security guy just didn't know what to do. Like he just seemed so unbothered. I thought
kick
that
them out.
Yeah.
Stand up.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, and he was just like, well, they're leaving now, so what do you want me to do? Like, just so unhelpful.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
act like you're kicking them out.
Yeah.
Do you know, I don't know. Like,
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
Make
it's like
me feel protected.
You're condoning this like by
Yeah.
saying, "Oh, they're just leaving now." It's like, well, kick them out.
Yeah.
Don't tell them to not come back.
Yeah, don't tell me why
Yeah.
didn't you tell me sooner.
This
Like,
tall security guy was just like, to me, he was just like, well, what do you want me to do? And I was like, be the security guy? Like, do your job? I don't know. I just thought that it was just going to be something like at least a bit satisfying, like get them kicked out or whatever. He's just like, I don't know. Yeah.
Bro, is this your first day?
Yeah.
Do you guys not get like...
Do your work here?
Yeah, you don't have workshops on this or something like for security guards? Like,
Apparently not.
yeah.
There's another time at another supermarket where like it was like a much smaller supermarket, like one of those Tesco Metros, like tiny in the center of town. And I was just finishing uni, picking up things for dinner. And some like two women walked in and they were just shouting at each other about COVID, and then they saw me, they were like, get away from her, she's got the disease, like look, it's the disease, like get away from me, corona, like stuff like that.
God.
Like shouting, like they were just screaming at the top of their lungs. And it was like fully staffed, it was full of people. I felt so uncomfortable. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know like how to react. I just didn't.
Yeah, what do you do?
Yeah, I just didn't react because I was like, I need to get my shopping done, but I feel really upset. But like, if I leave now, I won't get my shopping. Like, what do I do? I just looked around, like expecting someone to have picked up on it, and they were just like staring at me, like, oh, this is happening. What's she gonna do about it? Yeah, just nobody said anything in every single situation. Like when I was confronting the group of men, like in the other supermarket, I was looking around because I was at checkout. Everybody's at checkout. I was just looking around, like what you said was racist. Like you do not talk to me like that. You don't talk to people like that. And I was just looking around, and people were just acting as if it was not happening.
I'm not gonna get involved.
Yeah.
Like no, I'm not that person. Like that's ridiculous. I'm so sorry that no one was there to stand up for you guys. Like,
it's fucking awful.
Yeah, but I'm glad that you stood up for you and your sister. Like, even though it might have not been the outcome you expected, like, I hope in some way it was satisfying to just say, like, no, this is not okay.
It was. Yeah. It was satisfying, but it did just, it, like, ruins the rest of your week, like not even just the day, like you think about it, you just can't stop thinking about it, and it's like that kind of situation where you think of so many things that you wish you said afterwards, and then you blame yourself for like not saying those things. But then so I like shared my experience because nobody really talks about these things. I just wanted to tell people like this has happened to me. And then one of my friends messaged me. She said like, you need to be careful because what happens if they're waiting for you in the parking lot? And at that moment I was like, holy shit, like that could actually happen.
Oh my God,
I was like,
didn't even think about that.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't even think about that. I thought, oh, it's a public space, like there's a security guard. There's so many witnesses, like there's no issue. Like I feel happy to report them here and confront them here because it feels safe. But it was dark outside and it was nighttime, and I didn't even think about whether they'd like wait outside for me or my family. Which it just kind of like dawned on me then, like in no situation is it actually 100% safe for you to confront people. And a lot of people who haven't had these experiences, they think, oh, just fight back, like as if it's so easy. There's so many things that you need to take into account. Like you can't just fight back like that. It's not easy. You're in shock yourself, and you're trying to process it, and you're trying to like gather your thoughts as it is, let alone like the risk to your safety and like people around you. Just
just so unexpected in the moment.
That
just reminded me of, well, I feel like at the beginning of the pandemic, people were just so on edge and just being, just like